Welcome to Virtual Newsmakers. We're here today with Tanya Diaz, also known as MuseTD. She's become a really good friend of mine, and I met her through G+. And today we're talking about how to find people that you are like-minded with. And I currently am very fortunate to say that social media has enabled me to meet these two ladies. It's almost like overwhelming to think about. Debbie and I have been running this show for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
We've been webcasting for 2 years. We are so close, like sisters, and we met through social media and work together. She lives in Canada, and I live in Miami. We couldn't be farther in geography in terms of North America. But the reality is we couldn't be closer, and it's all because of this technology.
Yes.
So I'd like to kick that off with introducing Tanya, and she is a photographer. She's also an adjunct professor with Miami-Dade College. She teaches photography, and I'm going to let her tell a little bit about herself. One reason we thought we'd invite her in is she's got this rabid following and fan base, which is really fun. And I think she's got a lot to offer in terms of talking about how we connect up with people and using today's technology. So, with that being said, Tanya.
Hi, my name is Tanya Diaz, as they already said. I am an adjunct professor, and what I do is I do photography of architecture, landscape, nature. I kind of do a little bit of everything. And yeah, I've had, I don't even know how it grew to be so large. I think it was a lot of circle sharing, and from there it kind of just blew up, you know, and then I would put stuff about, you know, political things, and, you know, it's been an interesting ride.
Yeah.
I get a lot of trolls. I get a lot of really rude, crazy, I mean, misogynistic, you know, all sorts of kinds of people that I've had to kind of deal with. And, you know, me and Cynthia were kind of talking about that the other day, and I was just like, yeah, I would I would love to give advice on that, because, I mean, I definitely have a few stories to share.
So, Tanya, when you first, let's go back to when you first got into G+ and Facebook and all your platforms. You set up a profile, you have no connections. What's the first, how did you find your first connections? Because this is actually an area where some people have trouble with.
Question.
They don't know how. So how did you do that? Who did you look for?
I'll be honest. I mean, the first thing I did was kind of connect with all my friends and followers. I kind of had people on Facebook, and I kind of like tried to pull them into G+ because I was so upset with Facebook because of all their privacy issues. And I started off with that, but I had a little bit of help. My friend Joe Martinez was already a person who was already very known within the Google community. He had gotten me the beta on Wave. I don't know if you guys remember. You do,
yeah,
I'm sure remember that. And he had gotten me the beta on Wave. He had gotten me the beta on Google Voice. So I kind of had, you know, a little in on it already. And then from there, he started, you know, sharing me as part of, like, you know, the best of South Florida. And that's how I kind of met Cynthia, too, because I think I added her in the circle. And I kind of started, you know, getting my circle shared. And, I mean, at first, it was really weird. At first, it took a really long time. I'd say my following it started, like, in the thousands, like, you know, 6, 5, whatever, for about 2 years. And then it just blew up one day when I started kind of putting, like, really funny memes.
Yeah.
And political stuff, and it went crazy. I mean, from one day to the next, it just started, you know, more and more and more followers. I think I grew like almost 1,000 people some days. You know? So
Wow.
Yeah, it was really weird. Oh, and my stuff started getting a lot on the hot topic.
Yeah.
On Google+. I had, like, my friend was telling me, Joe, he said one day you had about four different pictures on the hot topics. He's like, how did you even do it? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I just have a really good eye for crazy things, you know, and that people like. So it was, I don't know. I think it was a break of fate. You know, it's just.
You do have a good eye, though. I have to step in there because sometimes I think to myself, where does she come up with all this stuff? And so that might be a good thing too, because I think people have trouble. They'll take pictures on Instagram or do whatever and do the same old stuff, or they'll share everybody else's stuff. But I don't feel like there are a whole lot of instigators of actual conversations. And when I see you post things, I can't help but want to get in on the conversation. And part of it is because I feel like we're like-minded, but you equally get people polemic on the other side as well.
Yes, I do get a lot of polarity.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid of confrontation, so I'm like, bring it on. You know, let's go. Let's debate, you know.
Yeah.
I should have been on debate in school, but I never was.
You would have won.
How when you get a nasty post though, you know, I know it's a public forum and it's kind of like publishing. Your first instinct is maybe to have it deleted. I guess it depends on how far the post goes, but how do you determine that?
If they start attacking me, if they start saying really nasty bad words, if they start just being crude, I really hate people that cannot debate without, you know, just crude words and just nasty attitudes, you know. I will be honest, sometimes people just, they think that they're going to get your attention like that, and that's why they go ahead and they say things of that sort. But what they don't understand is that, you know, sometimes they'll write me, I swear to God, it's like a book report. Like, you look at it and it looks like a book report. And I'm not going to read that. Guess what? Too long, TLDR, you know, I'm not going to read that. So I just delete it. And it's almost like I think to myself, I'm like, you know what, I'm not even going to give you the satisfaction of keeping that on my profile, because you're on my profile, you're on my circle, you're on my post. So I get to say what is going to stay on there. You know, and some people agree with that. You know, other people have uncircled me because of that, because I am very, I guess I'm a Nazi when it comes to that. I'm not going to stand for anything. And so I've decided that.
Though. I mean, to moderate, you have, the thing is we have the ability to moderate our conversations, and you do that very well. So
I try to keep, you know, if it's, even if it's an opposing side view, if it's a well-stated point and it's something, sometimes I just let them go at it. I mean, honestly, I've posted things that just make people kind of just, both sides go crazy, and I don't even get into it at some point.
And then you sit back and watch them go at it with each other.
I'm like, wow, okay.
You step in when it gets nasty and say, okay, chill.
Yeah, I start looking and I'm like, oh, no, you're gone. You are gone. You know? And all the hellfire people, gone. You know? And then I'll block them too. I don't even want them anywhere, you know. So I just block them, and I know that's probably, I'm not being very American or democratic at that point. I'm sorry, but I don't think that that's, you know, an open-minded view. Maybe I'm being closed-minded, but I don't think that they're being open-minded, and so I don't want them on my post.
Well, you know, let's talk about the trolls, because I know we're sitting here on this hangout, and you know, all three of us, because we're on, have Gmail or Google Plus open, we could get one of those stupid little hangout boxes lift up with the hi from some name that's unpronounceable, and you're not connected to that person, so I just block them.
Me too. Well, I have hangouts only on people that I've actually circled. So nobody else can hang out with me. Nobody else can send me a message, because when I didn't have that, it was like in the hundreds, like the people that would send me hangouts, and I was like, I can't even handle this. Like, I don't even have enough hours in the day to put up with that. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when you do have these trolls, though, what is your recommendation for that? Because I find that people really get off sometimes on creating the shock value or trying to get I don't know what it is they're thinking, but I call them keyboard cowards.
Yeah.
Because they only have the backbone or the balls, so to speak, when they're
behind the keyboard. Yeah. I actually did something the other day that I had never done before. And I actually was kind of like, oh, this might actually work out for, the hangout on Friday. A lot of people actually agreed with it. And it was really out there, but I decided not to block the troll this time. I decided to debate him and to give him the chance to uncircle me. I did it, and I told him numerous times, please uncircle me and remove yourself from my posts. I don't want to debate anymore with you. You're getting nasty. You're starting to attack my person. Please remove yourself. And he kept on going. And then I think he went to work like 7 hours later, like just like clockwork. He came back in and started saying, it was a post about rape.
Oh,
I had basically said, yeah. And I like to get these things out there because I'm a woman and I personally was attacked. So I would like to get this out, and I was like, well, if men are going to be violent, well, then can women, if you're going to rape me, can I just like, can we agree that I can cut off your balls, So I was just saying something stupid like that, and it was just me being funny, but, it hit a nerve. Yeah. And this guy came on it and said the famous, she deserves it, and I mean, he just went off. And so he just started saying things, and he had guys attacking him on that. I mean, it was just like everybody was like, what are you talking about, buddy? Like, this is not the way you talk.
Right.
And so finally I had told him, please encircle me, please get out of my post, blah, blah, blah. And 7 hours later, he comes back. So he finally said something like, mind you, he was an electrician, and he goes, oh, she's a professor of photography. That shows how stupid she is, or something to that effect. And I was like, doesn't even make sense anymore. Like, now he's just arguing just to argue. And I had told him, I'm like, your argument is futile because all you're doing is giving me more points on clout. Like, all your little comments are just helping me out, So thanks, I'm probably going to get extra perks because of all your attention, but honestly, just go away.
Yeah.
And I finally blocked him when he said that because I was just like, you know what? I don't feel like talking about this. It was already like 12 o'clock at night. So I did something I had never done before. And I think it sent out a good message. It's like, if you're going to be like that and you're going to bully and harass me, I'm going to bully and harass you. So what I did is I posted his picture, I posted his Google Plus profile link, and I told everybody what he had done. He deleted all his comments before this, and everybody was just like, I was like, well, let's troll the trolls. Let's do it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I had never done this before. And I'm going to troll.
Like
it was terrible, but it worked.
Because that's karma coming. That could be karma, and it could come back,
Could it? I don't know. But he looked for it.
Because that's really cyberbullying too, on both sides when you do that.
Yeah, fine. But I mean, I don't think I'll ever do it again. But he was too much, man. He was just too much.
Yeah. I would just block them and take them out of my thing. I mean, you get stuff all the time. I had one guy on Google Plus, and he seemed like he connected, and he was intelligent, and he was liking posts, and he was sharing posts and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I get this porn post shared by him. So I immediately blocked him. But in some of the other networks, like in Facebook, you get these trolls who send you the direct messages. You're not connected to them, and they'll profess their love, or I saw your picture, and blah blah. So, but I block and report all those guys. All of them.
Sure.
Well, we have the option to be able to do that on G+. And some of the other networks don't make it so easy to get rid of people like that. What are your thoughts on to friend or to not to friend, and when to unfriend? Because I've been seeing a lot of posts lately where people are talking about, I really want to unfriend, or I'm doing spring cleaning, or whatever it is that they're doing. But our lives are getting so filled up with noise and people who really don't serve us. What are your thoughts on unfriending all of those people? Spring cleaning.
I do a lot of spring cleaning, especially on Facebook. I think if after a while, I haven't seen anything that you've posted that really makes a difference in my life.
Right.
Or if I'm not, you're not really reacting to my post, you're kind of just a non-entity.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing personal. It's just, this is supposed to be a forum where we're supposed to be meeting minds and, and talking together and things like that. If there's nothing being shared, if there's no energy being circled, then there's no point in being friends. I mean, if I see you on the street, I'll probably say hi to you, but what's the point of anything else? Yeah. I think also when you add people that you don't really know, that happens a lot, that they just become like non-entities. No?
No. In fact, if it wasn't for the people that I didn't know that I added, I wouldn't. I mean, what that says is you guys wouldn't, none of us would have met if we added people we didn't know. So I say you can check out a profile sometimes before you add them, but it's the quality of your news feed. That's what I look at. The quality of the news feed. I mean, you can hide somebody's, you don't necessarily have to unfriend them on Facebook, but you can hide their feed.
Right.
Twitter, you can mute people's feeds on G+ without unfriending them. I mean, I think when you unfriend them, it goes, for me personally, it's beyond that. It's when it's not because their quality of their news feed so much as they're nasty, like the person that you described earlier. But the quality, I want my news feed quality because that's where I get my news a lot of times.
Correct.
Through Twitter and whatnot.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because that quality word, I think, is really going to become more and more important on social media, because I think there was this initial, oh wow, we can find all of our friends from 25 years ago. But the reality is maybe you don't have anything in common with your friends from 25 years ago at all, and maybe they're not. Maybe they were friends 25 years ago for a reason. So, there's that mentality. But maybe there's somebody from 25 years ago that comes back into your life, and they're, maybe social media enabled that to have that rekindling to happen. So it goes both ways.
But you don't know who people know. You can't judge a profile by that person. Because you don't know that person from 25 years ago, or that person that you don't know who's legit that you friend. I mean, there's certain people that friend request you who are definitely trolls, and you can usually kind of tell by looking at their profile, and if not, you can tell by their first post. Yeah. But there are people you friend, even if they're not connected to anybody else in your network. You can friend them and give them a chance to prove themselves that they're not creepy and trolly.
Right.
You don't know who people know. That person may be sitting back and watching your posts, and they may not necessarily be engaging, but all of a sudden you got a job offer, or you've got the career move of a lifetime because of that person. Because of the connections. You cannot judge. I mean, people will look at me and think, well, she's got nothing I need. Well, you have no frickin' idea who I know. I can connect people with anybody across the planet with whatever industry. You don't know.
Well, and that's very true. I mean, we run a show where we've spoken with people all over the world, and we really seriously do know people all over the planet. And this could have never happened without social media as a digital communications tool. I think that it is going to come down to lessening the load with quality conversations and connections, though. But you are right. You don't know who they know.
You can't get egotistical and think, oh, I'm not going to friend that person. Right. I don't know who the hell they are. I mean, if that's the case, then what the hell are you doing on social media?
Yeah, no. Let me change what I said, because I used to add everybody that would add me. I would go into their profile. If they seemed normal, I would go ahead and I would friend them. But I just found that a lot of those people were nothing to me. But do I still have people that I've never met in real life on social media? Sure. The problem is, though, with Facebook, what I found that is different from Google+. See, with Google+, I'm very open. So anybody that I see that's commenting that says really cool stuff, you know, and keeps commenting on me and keeps, you know, sharing interesting things to me, I will go check them out, and I will go. I mean, remember, I have 21,500 people, so
Yeah.
a lot of people comment, so I can't just be around friending 21,000 people either, you know. So
Well,
when I see that people are
you're limited to 5,000 on G Plus.
on G, right, people that you can friend, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I have done more with Google Plus, because Google Plus is also more of like a public profile for me.
Yeah.
That Facebook, my problem with Facebook is that my family's on there. My nieces, my father, you know, my sisters, my brother, my, you know, so some of my closest friends in the world, you know, so it scares me because I myself have had to close down my friend feed, you know, the adding friend button, unless that it's somebody that is known from one of my friends. Because it used to be that I would get a lot of random, just out of the blue, just where did you even find me type of people. And so I kind of leave those people off to the world of, you know, my like page for my photography, and then the people that I keep on my profile of Facebook are a pretty tightly knit network, you know. And I think I only have 260 people on Facebook, whereas, you know, I have like 1,000 something here on Google Plus.
And
So
yet, for me, my
Facebook on the network
is more engaged than my Google Plus right now. And I'm very active on Google Plus, but I find my community on Facebook is business and personal. And let's face it, business is personal. So most of my business conversations are in Facebook. Most of my business opportunities come from Facebook. So I'll get stuff out of the blue, and working on a project right now that is a huge project, and in the future it's, you know, who knows where it's going to go, but that was all developed and came through Facebook. So I think the experience is what you make of it. I mean, I mean both sides. I mean, I don't think the matters with the platform. There's people who say the same thing about Twitter. I think there's no, I mean, whatever works for each individual, that's where you do spend your time. So, but I agree. I mean, you would do your connections however it works, and but for me personally, it's both. But I don't put anyone in my Facebook that, you know, and I don't put anything on Facebook that I wouldn't want to share on G Plus or with the world. So
Right.
I think I censor myself more on Facebook, actually. I think I censor, and I'll put more stuff that's more personal, like, you know, hey, I worked out today or something like that, than whereas on Google Plus, I'd never put that on, you know, because Google Plus is so public that nobody's going to care, you know, but maybe my friends might, you know, care that, you know, I just had a chocolate cheesecake. You know, but the people on Google Plus
I'm not sure they care about that on Facebook either, but
some of my friends do because we're foodies. But
yeah, I agree. You get some you get a few likes on that. That's true.
I think it boils down to, are we using these networks to actually really network? And what I mean by that is, I see a lot of businesses trying to push out their stuff all the time, people trying to push out things all the time, and they don't understand that this is really about if there are billions of people on this planet, you know, there's probably a few that have similar mindsets or like minds that you have that you may never know. It may be somebody in Nepal or somebody in Australia or whatever. And the thing about Google Plus is this type of forum enables us to have a conversation with people all over the world. I think the key word is conversational, and getting into conversation with people and finding those because to me, Facebook is all those people from 25 years ago.
Well, no, it's
my family.
That's for you. That's for you. But
right. For me, I have all sorts of people.
Conversations are in every platform. So in order to get more Twitter followers, you have to have conversations. So
yeah, I
watch UFC. I'll watch the UFC matches or boxing matches, like the Manny Pacquiao match with Bradley recently. I'm watching that, but I have Twitter, I've got the hashtag on Twitter open, and I'm actually conversing people I don't know.
Oh,
And
that's
we're
interesting.
having
I
a
never done that.
conversation about the fight on Twitter. So it's a conversation, and you pick up a few
Yeah.
followers that way. But that is what these platforms. I mean, it has nothing to do with friends or. I mean, you can box all the platforms as certain things.
Yes.
But it's each
Yes.
person has their own individual experience. I don't have the same experience that Cynthia has on Facebook.
Yes.
And I don't have the same experience on G Plus that maybe Martin Shervington has, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm on lots of platforms. I'm spending more time on Pinterest lately too, and I'm getting lots of interactions on Pinterest. But I don't know. It just
I think it's a form of expression.
for you, yeah.
It's a
It
form
is
of
a form.
expression, and you will use it for whatever your form of expression is, and however you feel. And you hit a nail on the head when you said that each social network is for something different, and it is.
It is.
So is. It's like Google Plus is where I use my my network to get my information out, in terms of politics, in terms of like big ideas that I have, in terms of my photography, and then Facebook is more personal and more, I'll share like a photo of my kid, when she was, her Halloween costume that won best in the school, or I'll share, things of that sort. And then Twitter is for, I had never thought of using Twitter like that, but I'm so going to use it like that from now on, because that is such an interesting idea.
I love Twitter for that, to tell you the truth. In fact,
I've never used
yesterday
it like
I had
that.
an 8-hour meeting with I used Twitter and G Plus yesterday. I had an 8-hour meeting with the Caribbean Travel Association, basically. And these are people from 30 different countries that are all about tourism. And they have their ideas about each one of their islands, which are all different. And yet, by the same token, the global viewpoint of what the Caribbean is might be different. So I fired up a G Plus, and I got Linda D onto the G Plus, and I said, "Can you pull people from all over the world into this conversation? I want to ask one question." And she said yes. So that she had someone from Russia and someone from Iran, someone from Italy.
Wow.
2 people from New York, and like they were from all over, a guy out of Paris. And so we just simply asked them, when you hear the word Caribbean, what's the first word you think? And every one of them had a different answer. And for the first time, these people from representing 30 countries were connecting with and having a conversation with people all over the world about what the Caribbean is. And so it took it one step. We were able to network through a conversation using webcam that would have never happened on Facebook or Twitter. That would have never happened on that particular platform. And they saw that for the first time. That the Paris guy was walking around in front of the Pompidou Center, and they were just like, and so
that's awesome.
All of a sudden, we were having a massive global conversation, all from a conference room at the Marriott in Miami. So it was interesting.
Beautiful.
I've been experimenting on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is always like the boardroom of social networks, right? Like totally business. But you want to know something I've discovered?
What?
Is when you post a meme or a quote with a photograph that you've taken, or do a Throwback Thursday and tell a story about the picture that you posted. I'm looking because on LinkedIn it'll tell you how the reach that each of your posts have now.
Yeah.
And I'm finding those posts are getting way more reach than the posts that are just business links and interesting educational links and whatnot.
Right.
I have it.
The personal stuff is just going
really
on my LinkedIn. I mean, I'm getting like all three circles. Like you've got your immediate, your second, and your third circle. All of them are like, watching these posts. And
Well,
it's just an experiment I've been doing lately, and wow.
let's challenge her to test out LinkedIn a little bit on that
I
front.
actually have, though. I
But you've
actually
got
have.
phenomenal images that you could put out on
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
I actually posted one today on LinkedIn, and let's see where my image. I posted my neotropical
Did you
hummingbird bee.
what did you say about it, though? What did you have a story
Um,
behind it?
I gave it the name, so I put what kind of bee it was. It's a
Yeah.
really cool image. I posted it a few days on G Plus, and it got nice traction. And I just said, the year where the
Yeah.
year that I took it, and so on and so. Let's see, 2006. So I put, neotropical bee from 2006. Nada. So I think it's also
Really?
Try this. Post if you do a similar, say with the bee. I mean, this is what's been happening with me. You'll post. I mean, it isn't like 100% of the time, but I'd say 80% of the time you're getting a little more hits.
I have a lot of real estate agents, though.
If you put the bee on, or and then have maybe a motivational quote with it, and then describe, I took this bee, blah blah blah, 19 blah blah, underneath, just to describe that it's your picture that you took. But above that is a motivational quote. Sometimes that spreads it around. Or if the bee was in your backyard and say this was flying around, and that day you learned some, I love this picture because blah blah blah, this happened that day, or it reminds me of blah blah blah. That is what I've been doing on those photographs. They've just been getting a lot more hits than any other post I've ever made.
I'm gonna try because LinkedIn is almost like, it's very like crickets on there all the time.
Yeah. Well,
I've been doing that. I've been getting way more requests, like connection requests, and a lot more conversations have been going on since I've been doing that.
I think that's how a lot of people feel on G+. I mean, I have some clients right now that are just struggling with the idea of G+, because they're not seeing the same thing they're getting on LinkedIn. Yeah. And I said to them, LinkedIn is your comfort zone, and it's time to get out of the comfort zone, and it's time to try to, it's not the same language. It's like you can't go to Spain and speak French, or probably shouldn't. And so you've got to shift your languaging a little bit and get to know the culture. How would you recommend to my client, just for example, or a business person getting started on a new social network like G+, how would you suggest that they actually find other people that they can connect with?
Well, I definitely think, adding in your connections currently, all your emails, try to find people that you already have on Facebook, on Twitter, on, all these people, and try to bring them in. A lot of them already have profiles.
Okay, so cross-pollinate with the other social media. Okay.
Definitely. Because you have a lot of people that you already have. If you already have a big social following on LinkedIn, post your new Google Plus profile. Hey, who's got, Google Plus? Find me over there, because that's a great way to have those people go, oh, I have an account, let me go find him, because they also want followers too, so they'll, add you, you add them. All of a sudden, what came out to be 5 people becomes, 1,000, because you've added all these people from Instagram, from LinkedIn, from LinkedIn, from Facebook, from everywhere, So it's definitely, that's your start.
Somebody needs to make an app for that.
Yeah, right? Just add everybody from everywhere. And, also invite. There's a lot of people who might have been thinking about it, but they're not sure. And then when they see that you come in, then they'll be like, okay, don't be scared to invite. Okay, yes, it's spamming their email in a way, but, don't do it every day or anything. Just do it once. And if they don't add, fine. But if they do, I got a lot of people that joined G+ because of that. A lot. Friends that would have never probably joined if I wouldn't have invited them from the beginning.
Right. Well, it's interesting, too, because you and I got to know each other through G+, but have started hanging out in real life because we got a lot of things in common. But we've never, and we relate back and forth with each other in a text-based kind of way, but we've never actually really hung out. And you and I, or you and you and anyone that you want to meet with could essentially have meetings and conversations this way. And that's what I think people are missing out on, is that posting a picture and then talking in a text-based format is one kind of conversation, but this is an entirely another conversation. We're not sitting on the same couch, but I hear the rooster going on in the background, and I see Debbie's cat from time to time, and none of these things could happen with your avatar and my avatar chatting back and forth in a text-based way.
And like this, you also see the emotion, you see the way that the person talks, you see their mannerisms. I think it's very important, and I think it connects people a lot more. No, this to me is my favorite thing about Google+, and I don't do it a lot because I don't always have nice hair to be on there.
I think you got to get over that, believe me. I mean, you know what? People need to understand that, let me ask you this, and this is a little exercise and a challenge for everybody out there. When you go out into the world and you shake someone's hand and you meet them, are you really thinking about how your hair looks or whether or not your lip?
Yes.
But I can see myself.
Yes.
I can see myself in that little text box.
I'm just saying.
I couldn't see myself. When I don't see myself, it's like, what is it? There's a saying that mind that doesn't know, heart that doesn't care, or something, So that's what it is.
I really seriously think people need to think of webcam as just a regular, normal conversation. We just can't touch and smell each other.
I look at it. I look at it as a face-to-face meeting. When I get on Skype and when I get on. Although there's a couple times I was on Skype, but it was very private. But when I get on a webcam, to me it's a face-to-face meeting. And when I do a face-to-face meeting, you gotta
look nice.
Comb my hair and fit in my pajamas.
Even when you go outside,
because it's professional, and I have to, whether I put makeup on that day or whatever, I still have to feel like, for me personally, I have to feel like I'm professional. And yes, I do think about my hair. When I have a bad hair day, my whole day is ruined.
I get dressed up like just nice to even go get coffee or gas. I don't like going out looking like a bum. I don't. I feel like if I'm putting out, an energy into the world and people are seeing me and they're bouncing that energy back at me. So I like looking at least a little bit, I don't know.
You know what? When you do that, all of a sudden you meet somebody that you wanted to meet, and all of a sudden you're thinking, if you're not dressed up or half-assed presentable, you're thinking, oh my God!
That's happened so many times. I'm like, I am so glad that I looked nice today, because look who I found on the street, It's happened to me a couple of times.
You don't want to be on the Walmart feed on those, Oh
my God, no.
So yes,
I don't even think at home I'll be on the Walmart feed.
Okay, so
we do dress up.
Yeah, but the bottom line, I guess what I'm getting at is I don't think people need to be so hung up on necessarily their appearance any more than they normally would be. And if you're going out and, whatever, I just think that this hiding behind the avatar, it has serious limitations in terms of really connecting with people, because you don't really know who they really are. They could be catfishing you. You don't really know whether you would get along with them at all, and then you meet them in person and go, oh no, I wish I had it, I have had such an incredible experience with meeting people on Google Hangouts from all over the world, and then when I've met them in person, all the barriers were gone, all those, because to me, I am really hoping this is the direction that all of this is going, because I think that really being able to make connections on a deeper, this just enables a deeper level of connection.
No, I totally and completely agree with you. I think you're so right in that. I mean, like I said, it's the only way that you can truly see a person's expressions, and that makes a big difference when you're speaking to people and when you're meeting them. I mean, this is a big thing of chemistry, expressions and facial features and things like that. So I totally agree, especially when I think it's really important for internet dating too, you got to see what they look like on video first, you know, before you
Yeah.
meet them. I mean, that's a big deal for me.
That's another topic.
Totally. Just wanted to add that in.
So before we wrap up our show, we like to ask our guests to come up with a challenge of the week. So given I mean, it could be part of the conversation we've had, or you could just come up. So what challenge would you give to our viewers that they could do this week, within this next week, to kind of move the needle a notch?
To find friends and like minds across their social media networks that matter. How about that?
Okay. It'll be a two-part challenge, okay? I say they need to go out, what I said, the cross-pollination thing, you know, and not be scared to send out email invites, you know, really try to get out there. And number two, try to connect personally with people.
Yeah.
Try to connect way more personally with people online. So in other words, send out a personal message. Don't be creepy. Don't be creepy. Just be real cool, professional. You know, maybe look at their profile and be like, hey, you know, I really like so-and-so topic that you discussed. Would you like to add me as a friend? I'm really interested in getting to know you more. People that do this to me on Facebook, I will add them. Because if you have the decency to come out and ask me personally, you know, to be your friend, then I will add you. I mean, that is something. I added actually 2 people last week that were really nice and very, I think it's just good manners.
Yeah.
You know? Well, I mean, that whole, like, just pressing friend is really not that cool, you know? And a lot of people won't agree to that, you know? So if you come out and you say, hey, what's up? This is who I am. Would you like to be friends? And you know, don't be a dork about it, but you know, do it really cool. I think people will actually kind of reach out a little bit more.
I think it's a lot like a virtual handshake. I mean, if you were out in the real world and you met somebody, you're not thinking again what you look like. You're reaching out. You're making eye contact with them, and we can't always do that with the avatars. But when you shake someone's hand, you actually want to know something a little bit more about them, or you ask them questions, or you get into conversations about things, and then you don't start off with what do, you know, or hopefully, you know, but maybe you find out a little. The beauty of social networking is you can find out a little bit about them in advance and say, you know, I really like the photographs you posted, or blah blah blah, or whatever. You're able to really start to enter a conversation with them, and I don't think lurkers benefit from being on social media, honestly. We have had so many chat messages, to be honest with you, and they are from all over the world, and we really haven't spent any time. I really want to thank everybody that got on and said hi and asked questions, and some people want to know how many can watch a G Plus Hangout, or that, you know, can come on. We can have up to 10 guests, but we typically only have our interview guest. If you've got questions that Tanya can ask at this moment, we're taking them right now. But other than that, it's really been fun to see how many people have come in to say hi. Someone is even from China, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, this has been absolutely terrific and lots of fun. I really want to thank you for coming on with us, and
thank you so much for having me.
I value our friendship in ways you never know, and I would have never known you, I don't think, had we not met via G+.
Yeah, and it was just from looking at each other's posts and commenting on each other's stuff. I mean, that's how we met and we became friends.
And we're like minds. I mean, we think so much alike. It's almost like we were separated at birth or something. So anyway, I really, you know, that connection has deepened even more. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Nice to meet you, Debbie.
Nice meeting you. And for those out there, if you like what you see, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes. See you next week on Virtual Newsmakers.
Bye.
Bye.